Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
So, Jeff,
Go on.
it's snowing up there, huh?
Oh yeah, we had about 10 inches this weekend.
Jeez, that's much.
Yeah, so
it
was kind of amazing because for as bad as the snow was, they did freaking amazing plowing. So it was like never an issue to drive.
Really?
Yeah. And we had a legit, like, I don't know, you saw my tweet. Like, we had a legit, solid, 6 to 10 inches of snow.
Yeah, it was coming down.
Yeah, we can only tell just because of what was built. That was the end of it, actually. So I'd already come down like all night before. You could just see what was built up on our railing, which was.
So, I've never been in a hot tub in the snow. Does it keep you warm?
It does.
Your head's got to be cold, right?
So I've definitely been in hot tubs at like ski resorts and things like that. Gone on ski trips and all the places have outdoor pools and hot tubs, and it's fun. You go roll around in the snow and then you jump back in the hot tub. But those are more like industrial powered hot tubs that are, a higher degree to start, and they can maintain their heat a lot better. These little inflatable hot tubs that run a 110 volt power supply or a 110 volt outlet, you can't run the heating element and the bubbles at the same time. So the second you turn the bubbles on, the heat goes off, and the bubbles, all they are is just forcing air from an air compressor through it, which makes it cool. It cooled down from, we got in, it was 97 degrees, and we were in it for about 10 minutes, and it was down to 91.
Wow.
So it dropped fast, I mean, when we were out there. But,
So how many people tweeted you and were basically like, "You're killing your baby"?
None.
Really?
No, yeah, there's absolutely. Well, you got to remember with hot tubs too, there's a specific temperature range you're allowed to be in it. If it like under 100 degrees is safe for pregnancy.
Right.
So we only.
Well, it still says like the Mayo Clinic still says you probably shouldn't be there longer than 10 minutes, but
I mean,
you
we're
probably
only in there. The tweet was only 25
because it was
seconds
cold.
Yeah.
No,
the hot tub was amazing though. The problem is because of the snow getting into it, it like melted and actually filled up the hot tub even more. So when we got in, it like dumped water all over the edges and stuff. And it actually got on the cord, and it kept tripping the circuit breaker because the cord was wet. So I kept having to get out and run up my deck and go reset the circuit breaker when we tried to move the cord. So that got cold.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
But
man, I'm so disappointed because like whenever you tweeted that, like I saw discussion about whether or not Julie should be in there.
On my tweets?
No,
I was gonna say because there was not on my tweets.
Nah, I didn't look at the responses.
Well, people can look and see that you're completely safe to be in there at like under 100 degrees or 101 maybe it is. That you're the max you can go when you're pregnant. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know.
And that's all the 110 volts will go up to. The max is 104.
Apparently you're not supposed to. Apparently, like people aren't supposed to get hot tubs over 104.
Oh well, they're weak. Whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, like I didn't know honestly. Like I was at Renee's house whenever you tweeted that out, and I showed her, and she was like, "Isn't she pregnant?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "She's a doctor and Jeff's a nurse. If she shouldn't be in there, I think that one of them would know."
Oh. I mean, the thing is, how hot is your bath or shower when you take it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably like that too, though, right?
I would guess it didn't feel much warmer than a shower, like.
Right. So I mean, I looked it up because I didn't know. Whenever she asked, like, my first response was, "Well, between the two of them and their medical training, I'm sure that it's fine."
But you looked it up. And what did it say when you looked it up? I want to make sure that we've looked.
Basically that, like, if like you shouldn't be over 100, and then you should probably limit it to about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, we're completely within our limit. I'm surprised. I didn't even know like that was a thing. That was a known thing that you shouldn't be in a hot tub if you're pregnant.
I didn't. I mean, like, it didn't cross my mind at all at first. If she had said something, I wouldn't have thought about it. But then in my Reddit, there was a long discussion about it too. So, or not my Reddit, my Discord. So I just assumed that maybe you got some of that as well.
No. The quotes are everybody. There wasn't that many responses to the tweet. But the people who did respond were more like impressed that it was the inflatable hot tub that was chilling out there in the middle of the winter.
I mean, it is kind of impressive. I mean, I've only heard bad things. You're the only person I know that's gotten one of these.
I've not heard anybody say anything. The only bad things I've heard people say is that the motors will tend to die out on them after like the first year, or they'll get like a hole in them or something. Honestly, it's almost like a throwaway investment, though.
That's how I've looked at those. The same thing with the inflatable pools. That they're bigger. You know, they're not like the shitty pools that when we were kids.
Not the plastic.
They're basically
pool,
the same,
right?
Yeah, but like the same technology as your thing, and people all complain like after 2 years it's no good anymore. It's like, well, shit, that was probably. I mean, you should have like that's what you got out of it, right?
You paid $500 for 2 years as opposed to $30,000 to get a professional pool. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So, I actually thought that it was dead before because I went to turn it on earlier than because I let it turns off after 3 days of non-use. Oh yeah, people are right. There is like a really close or drop off that I've been skipping. It's like in the planes, you know, when they tell you that be aware that the closest emergency exit might be behind you. That's like what it was. Is it was like the row behind where I've been jumping down, but I've been running up to the next one instead. But it turns off after 3 days of not pressing any buttons on it. It's like a safety feature that it won't just keep running if nobody's ever around. And so I had let it turn off for a while because we didn't use it for a while. And I was like, you know what? It's getting a little bit cold. It was when it still wasn't crazy cold. We hadn't snowed or anything yet. And I went to turn it back on, and I couldn't get it to turn back on. It kept giving me an error. I didn't know what the air was, so I was like, well, shit, this thing's dead already. Like, that was quick. So I finally looked up the air, and if it's less than 45 degrees, the water, it gives that air and it won't turn on because it just, I guess the heater is not good enough to keep, like, to heat the water up from that cold. I don't quite know why, but it won't. So all of a sudden we had a warm streak, and it literally got to like 2 degrees above, 45 degrees. The water did, and I was able to turn it back on, and I've just made sure I kept it on ever since. So, it's 20 some odd degrees outside now, and hot tub's chilling out there at 104. Checked it when I got in from work.
104 is too hot for me. Whenever me and Renee were in that cabin in the mountains, they had a hot tub with it, and we got in. It felt cold. It was like 92, I think, and I turned it up to 105 or whatever the max it would go to, and it was fucking hot.
So I agree with you. We over the summer when we used it, we cranked it up to 104 and then used it, and we were in it for about 10 minutes, and I was like sweating my ass off, and I was like, this is too much. But out in this weather, it goes down so quickly because
I could see that.
I take the top off and start the bubbles, and before you get in, it's going to be down to like 102, and then you put 2 people in it, and it's going to drop down to like 95 in the next 2 minutes.
Right.
So.
And the snow's falling in it.
Oh god, that was why it was so cool though. And I was hoping, and I think I watched the video afterwards, and it looked right, that all it looked like at first was I was just showing off the snow, and then it kind of like panned down to us in the hot tub. I was like, this turned out good. It turned out pretty good. I like it. So, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, go check out my tweet. Go tweet about it. Go talk about it. Give it some interactions.
The baby's okay, everyone.
As far as we know, the baby's okay. The baby's still inside, and the baby's still moving. So as far as we know, baby's okay. And yeah, look it up. It's allowed. We've done everything within specs. Don't worry. We're not endangering our unborn child at this point. So speaking of hot water, sous vide machines. Did I talk to you about the Instant Pot that had the sous vide built in? So I saw these news. I don't know why my news feed, I check my news from like news.google.com all the time. Like during the day, I'll go there and see if there's any news stories. And it's one of those, just like everything else, it kind of tailors itself toward what you've looked at, I think, a lot. That's why I keep getting all that stupid Survivor stuff, and I had to keep up in Survivor this season so I didn't get it spoiled, because every other news article was telling me what happened in the previous day's Survivor right in the headline. It would piss me off if I hadn't watched it yet. But I keep getting all these articles about the Instant Pots, and I love my Instant Pot. I don't know what I didn't start reading anything about Instant Pots all of a sudden to make it so that my newsfeed is filled with all these Instant Pot recipes and
Did you
articles.
Like look up recipes or something for Instant Pot?
I definitely have looked up recipes before, but so maybe that's why. I don't know. But either way, I saw that there was an Instant Pot that has a built-in sous vide, and I was like, holy shit. Like, this would literally If I had this instead, I would just get rid of my crock pot, my Instant Pot. Like, you could literally clean up so many of your kitchen devices if it had the built-in sous vide, especially in my small house in DC. That would be great, but they're like $180, and I already have an Instant Pot, and I already have a crock pot that I've converted to sous vide. So I wouldn't need to do that. So I'm looking today, and it was a news article about how, oh my God, it's on sale now with this coupon from Amazon, like that you can get them the Instant Pot with sous vide built in for $120. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go for it. It's the 8-quart versus the 6-quart that I have anyway. I'm going to go get this thing and replace my Instant Pot, get rid of my crock pot, make some room in my kitchen, and have everything that I need right here. So I go to the page on Amazon, and Amazon must have had this problem with a lot of people for a while, because the top line on the description says, "Note, this is not a pressure cooker."
What the fuck is it then?
So Instant Pot themselves is now, I guess they've always been, but they're now making a bunch of products under the Instant Pot brand.
Huh.
So this is literally just the Instant Pot's version of a crock pot that has a sous vide feature, which is still pretty damn cool. Like, a crock pot manufacturer should do this. Like, if all you have to do is put a temperature probe inside of it to say, hey, keep it at this temperature, like, you can all of a sudden sell your $15 crock pot as a sous vide machine now. So I don't know why more companies aren't doing it. But it was really weird to see this Instant Pot that is not a pressure cooker that has this sous vide feature, and I'm not understanding why would they not just market an Instant Pot as like a pressure cooking Instant Pot with that feature, because you have the slow cooking option in an Instant Pot. Like, you can use it as a crock pot.
Right.
So I don't understand why you go out of your way to make this crock pot that costs more money, because my Instant Pots, you can buy them now for like, $70. They're not expensive machines anymore. I don't understand why you'd have a $180 crock pot that has the sous vide thing on it.
Yeah, that's awful.
Would you replace your sous vide setup if you could get it all in one machine?
Probably not, because the size of where my water bath is at varies on based on what I'm cooking.
Okay, that's true. So I guess my sous vide, since I did the whole DIY sous vide thing, is based on I need my crock pot for it to work. So I'm limited by the size of my crock pot still. Whereas you're limited by the size of whatever container you snap your sous vide machine to.
Yeah.
I'm sure to an extent, but
as well, they were on sale for Black Friday or something. So I got a second one too.
$60, $80.
Yeah, I think it's what it was, and they're normally I'm pretty sure that's exactly the price. And when I bought it new, it was like 180. So
it's still the one that connects to Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Yeah. It's the exact one I already had, and way cheaper than what I paid for originally.
Yeah, I thought about getting one.
I only had one occasion where I've used both of them though.
I thought about getting one on Black Friday because I did see that they had come down a lot in price, but I was like, man, I don't do it enough to justify it, especially when I need a whole different machine for it, and that's just an extra gadget and an extra container that I'm gonna need now.
Right. The only time I've used both is whenever I had a pork belly that was cooking for 48 hours.
So why'd you use both though?
Because I was making another meal.
Oh, okay. I was like, why does the pork belly cooking for 48 hours require two sous vide machines?
Yeah, no, I was making something else. When I first bought it, my thought was that a lot of times I want to do vegetables as well, sous vide, but those are normally at like a 180 degree, and that's just so much hotter than anything else I'm gonna ever sous vide. So I was thinking it'd be nice to have two, so I could have one going at like 180. Yeah.
I mean, that's really what they should come out with, is a sous vide machine that has its own plastic container that has essentially it's two sous vide machines back to back on each other, but they really sell it as one package, so you can do two different water baths at once.
Well, there is this company that makes kind of like HelloFresh or Blue Apron or all these, but it's like it comes with its own device and these different meals that you put in there, and like it goes through like several processes where like it'll sous vide it just to one point, and then it moves it over and it sears it, and it's all like you tell it to start like when you're leaving work, and then by the time you get home, it's like sous vide the product, and then moved it over and seared it. It's like ready to go, and then another chamber, there's vegetables that are ready to go. Like it's just like the full like 3-course meal. That's gone through all the different cooking processes. You didn't have to do anything.
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it was kind of expensive, and then you have to buy the meals from them. I mean, you probably don't have to. You could make, you can make the stuff work on your own, I imagine.
You drop something else in that you buy like off-brand from, Kroger, and it's like error. We cannot start.
Kind of like Keurigs or whatever.
Keurigs.
Speaking of food, you ever
eat food? Yeah,
couple
times.
Well, I mean, you used to be in the CIA and stuff like that. Did you ever eat at the White House?
No, but it's funny because at the CIA cafeteria was literally just a bunch of fast food restaurants.
Oh, really?
There was a Burger King,
like in a mall or something.
It was kind of like the mall, but it was like CIA cafeteria, and this was only a new headquarters building, or a new probably old headquarters building too, because they're like connected. But when I worked for the CIA, I only was at headquarters for like orientation and for meetings occasionally. I was actually at an off-site facility, so I didn't eat at the cafeteria like very often except for orientation. But all it was like there was a Burger King, I think there was an Arby's, but there was like legitimate fast food. It wasn't a cafeteria, it was legit just a couple different fast food restaurants.
Right. Why'd you go way up there to drop your stuff off?
I wanted to make sure people screamed. No, I was actually running up to the top, so I need to go drop off my pick.
Let's see. Well, speaking of fast food and eating at the White House, did you see?
That's why I knew to jump into fast food. Of what you were talking about. If you want to explain for the viewers, because I clearly know.
So yeah, yesterday, Clemson got invited. They went 15-0, huh?
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. But yeah, they got invited to the White House because they won. Never lost, in fact, I guess. And got invited to the White House for that White House meal to celebrate their big win. And Donald Trump decided that they should eat like he eats, and so he bought 1,000 hamburgers from McDonald's and Wendy's.
Well, no, so I didn't catch this whole understanding of why. I couldn't figure out, did he do it because he was treating them to the food that he likes, or did he do it because like the standard like chefs and stuff that would normally prepare this food are out as part of the government shutdown? So
yes, the chefs are out because of the government shutdown. That is true. But he did say to them, I want to make sure you have American food, and I know you guys don't like salad. You're like me, so I got us. I got you all some America's greatest food, McDonald's. That's what he said.
I mean, you do have to admit that even though people don't want to think of fast food as like the America food, it really is the staple of like the standard American family. McDonald's was like, it's probably like one of the #1 known, American businesses around the world for a long time.
That's because people make fun of us for being fat asses, Jeff. It's not a good thing.
No. You watched the movie The Founder.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's American. Like, McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar corporation for a reason.
I mean, I don't agree that it should represent America.
I don't think it should represent America, but it does.
But here's the thing. So you make the point that you kind of put it like he had to do this because there wasn't any chefs there. You live in DC.
Well, and that's
y'all have other food, right?
I said I didn't know if that was why or not. I didn't read enough to know if it was because they were out on shutdown and he was doing something, or if he specifically wanted it to be fast food. Like even if, let's say, the government was open, he would have done the same thing. I don't know.
He would not have done it if the government was open. This was because the government was shut down. But again, you live in DC. Y'all have other food, right?
A couple things, yeah, here and there.
A couple things, right? I mean, hell, the Trump Hotel is right down the street. They do catering.
You know what? That is kind of interesting how he didn't go with his own His own hotel that would have put a kickback back into his pocket. Maybe is that illegal? Is he not allowed to? I guess technically it wouldn't have put a kickback into his pocket because that would be like the whole part of conflict of interest where he had to sign off his holdings or whatever, right?
Right. I mean, this hasn't stopped him from them like telling him.
I'm not saying it wouldn't have actually gone back in his pocket. I'm just saying in theory, it's not supposed to, the way that it's all written and the way that everything's like.
Yeah, the I can't say
emolument clause.
Yes, clause. I mean, yeah, it hasn't stopped them from like telling diplomats stuff when they come to Washington that they need to stay in the Washington hotel and charging them more and stuff like that.
Right.
The Trump hotel.
That is kind of surprising that he didn't get catered from his own hotel chain.
I mean, I'm glad he didn't because it could be taken just as bad, if not worse. But I think that the whole, I don't know. I think this is one of the more. I mean, other than the light treason that he's committed, this is one of the most embarrassing things I've seen him publicly
treason.
I don't know. I was just more. I don't know. I was more offended by this than I have been by a lot of things.
So here's the deal. If I were to get invited to the White House for dinner, and I showed up and there was a lot of fast food, I would definitely be sorely disappointed because I would be expecting this like much more high class, sophisticated meal. However, there are people that exist in the world, I don't know if these people from Clemson are them, who actually prefer and like fast food over anything else.
All their nutritionalists lost their minds.
I'm just trying to make sure people like can see that I look at all sides of issues. I completely disagree with what was done. I think it was stupid and kind of embarrassing like you, but I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
Sure. I mean, if this was like, I mean, hell, I would have been okay with him.
Yeah, you're like, this is almost as bad as me telling you about my thought on Santa Claus.
I was livid for like all day yesterday. Like this whole thing really fucking pissed me off. It made me more mad because it's just embarrassing. It's a goddamn disgrace. Like you should just be ashamed. It's the trashiest thing I've ever. He's like, I mean, this made him the trashiest president in history. Honestly. It is just awful. Like if you wanted to serve pizza, for example, that would have been fine. There's tons of like local DC pizza places.
Papa John's would have been perfect, right?
No.
Chick-fil-A. Did he have Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A would have at least been better than McDonald's, but yeah, I don't know.
Wait,
I mean, it's funny. Like,
what?
Huh? It would have been.
Huh? Why would it have been better? The Chick-fil-A guy is the guy who was like, oh, like everybody hates the Chick-fil-A dude for being like a Nazi or racist or something.
He's anti-gay.
Anti-gay, that's it. Whatever. Why would Chick-fil-A have been McDonald's? I don't believe McDonald's has a spokesperson that is hated by the American population for being an anti-something or other.
I just meant the food. I meant the food, okay? I just meant the food. The food would have been more nutritious. That's all I meant.
So just going kind of on that topic, do you know all the stuff going on with R. Kelly?
I have not paid attention. I know he peed on some girls, and that's all I needed to know. I don't need to know anything else about who.
No, there's the documentary that just came out that basically, and I haven't seen it. It's been in the news like a lot lately, and all these labels are dropping.
Well, apparently it's bringing up he's peed on more people. Basically, he never stopped peeing.
And what it's been bringing up is this weird issue where people are saying how they are now boycotting and refuse to listen to any of his music and things like that, and how like it's a shame because he was such a good artist, and now the whole like everything he's ever done in his life basically can't listen to it anymore. And then there's this other side saying, yeah, I hate him for what he did. I think it's terrible, but I will still enjoy his music because it's good music. And there's this whole debate on if that's acceptable or not. And that one's a whole interesting one to me, because then I start thinking about it from like, Kevin Spacey has made so many good movies in the past. Is his whole movie library gone? Is nobody ever allowed to know who Kaiser Sose is anymore?
Oh God. On that fucking subject, did you see the YouTube video he put out?
No, but I heard about it. I kept meaning to watch it. He did it in the character of his like Frank Underwood character from
it was like, fucking psychotic, man.
Yeah,
it's
real
crazy.
life, psychotic.
Yeah.
I do need to, right when we finish recording, I'm going to watch it because I forgot. I saw it in the news and read the transcript and was like, I got to see this thing, and I never got a chance to.
Yeah, no, it's the craziest the craziest thing I've ever seen someone do. Like, I don't even know. I don't know who was in charge of that. But
do you think that should the whole, and I'm saying this because you're talking about Chick-fil-A food being better than McDonald's food for quality. However, there's such a big sect of people who are against Chick-fil-A for the anti-gayness, I'll just call it. Is that acceptable to think that it's better food still? Or do you have to take everything else into account with it? Is Kevin Spacey's whole movie library dead to people? Is R. Kelly's music...
yeah, he was a rapist whenever he was made those movies. It's not like he became a rapist later.
Well, and I don't even think it matters, does it? Like O.J. Simpson, granted, like he's in jail now, but he, was not in jail. He got acquitted of the murders, but he's in jail for whatever other things, or is he out now? Whatever. Either way, like he was in can you not watch football from that era anymore? Can you not watch the Naked Gun series anymore? Like, I think you can watch.
So here's the difference. Here's the difference between what you're comparing, and I think it's almost like an apple and orange thing. R. Kelly is a solo artist versus this is a movie with an ensemble of people. Like, a lot of people got fucked by Roseanne whenever everyone realized, oh right, that bitch still racist. It wasn't all of their fault, but they got fucked.
That concept is so amazing to me. You rebooted a series, got so much hype around it, had one episode, she proves that she's a racist, so they cancel the series and somehow still reboot the series from the dead husband.
Yeah,
that's how they twisted that to work is crazy to me. But I see what you're saying. It's but what about things that, granted, if R. Kelly is a solo artist, but like Kevin Spacey, what about the things that he is the star role in? Does that change it at all?
No, I mean, I don't think so, because there's still, even if you're the star, there's still a whole bunch of other people that are involved, and you can't hate the whole movie just because one of them's a rapist.
But isn't that kind of?
But you can have trouble watching that movie because he's the lead character, and all you can think about is he's a rapist. So sure, if it bothers you and you don't want to watch it, that's respectable. I think
my wife.
I don't think it's the same as like R. Kelly. I think R. Kelly, fuck that guy.
Well, my wife is still extremely, extremely, extremely anti-Walmart from back in the day. There, the glass ceiling and then the child labor practices and all that stuff. And I'm sure by now they've changed a lot of things especially because it was in the spotlight so much. But she will never, ever, ever be okay with shopping at Walmart in her life, no matter even if they became the next organization that put all 100% of their profits now went towards stopping child labor and things like that. It doesn't matter. They are tainted to her forever. And it's so interesting to me to hear all these people, because I was listening to it on NPR. So it was different people calling in or having their comments about it and just hearing the different sides of it. And I was like, wow, I don't know what is acceptable in this. Are you supposed to now hate everything about everything R. Kelly's ever done? If you were, I don't know why you ever
started liking anything he did after the first little girls he peed on.
I mean, I understand, but people did.
Well, those people were idiots.
But there was still a lot of them. That's why he stayed in the spotlight for so long.
Sure. I mean, that's kind of like Chris Brown. People keep listening to Chris Brown even though he's a fucking piece of garbage too.
So all of a sudden, is it now because it's mainstream that he's a piece of garbage that people are on the bandwagon if they're not allowed to listen to him? Is that a societal thing that people are like, well, as long as other people are still listening to him and think it's okay, I can think it's okay too. But the second you guys all start to jump ship, whoa, yeah, I gotta jump ship too. I'm not the weirdo psycho who likes this guy.
Probably.
Is that?
I mean, there was a wave of everyone hates R. Kelly the first time he peed on some little girls. I don't know how we got back to R. Kelly's okay. Once you peed on a little girl, you're kind of done in my book.
It's so, because I actually don't know all of the allegations that are in there. I just know that there's a lot of them. Is it really all about peeing on little girls?
Yes, he peed on underage children.
I thought it was more than peeing. Didn't he marry an underage child?
He may have. I don't even know about that part.
Wasn't that his? Didn't he marry Aaliyah before she died? Aaliyah's the one who died in the plane crash, right?
I don't know anything about R. Kelly, Jeff. I just know he peed on some little girls. That's all I know. I don't know anything about anything else.
So you were never an R. Kelly fan to even ask this to. I'm trying to think.
No.
Like if you were to find out, let's say OAR was like one of your favorite bands back. I don't know if they are anymore. Like, so it might not even matter. If you were to now find out though that one of them like peed on a little girl, would you all of a sudden like the whole OAR collection is done to you?
Again, that's another group thing,
God,
so it's kind of
like. Is there a solo artist that you like that I can compare this with then?
But you know what? I mean, it would definitely. Yes, it would make it hard to even them as a group, because I would wonder like how did they know he was being all little girls? Do what?
I said it would make it hard. You get off on that? That's disgusting.
Oh God damn it, Jeff. Let's see, a solo artist, Eric Hutchinson. There we go.
Okay.
And no, I would never listen to anything he ever did again.
If you found out he did something negative, it would be like everything be done.
Not just something negative, but like being a little girl, then yeah, you're dead to me.
But the whole thing would be dead to you. Even your most favorite song in the world that he recorded, the very first one when he was still like a good person, if he was still a good person.
I mean, if you're peeing on people, you always were ready to pee.
I mean, it's possibly true.
I feel like if you done it once, you were ready.
Man, I can't believe Eric Hutchinson peed on little girls.
Oh God damn it!
Obviously, guys, if you're looking for context, go back. He did not do such things that we know of. Somebody's gonna literally come into this video. We're gonna get like lawsuits over this particular video. Eric Hutchinson's lawyers will be contacting you soon.
No, please no. Well, now that we've ruined that man's career, I guess we're out of time for today's episode.
All right, guys. Stay tuned next time to find out whose career we ruin next.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.